There's really two different techniques for fishing shallow, heavy cover. One's called the flipping technique, the other's called the pitching technique. I think some people get a little confused where to do what. And I kind of look at it this way. If you've got, say, a grass line of hydrilla that's up and matted to where you can put the boat on the edge of it and go along and consistently be the same distance from the cover, or say a row of reeds or bulrushes, great place to use the flipping technique. And what's the advantage to it? Well, first of all, you need a canopy that the fish can get under, or you need dirty water. Otherwise, you're going to be spooking fish. So that's the number one requirement. How do you set yourself up to flip? You get a handful of line, hold your rod straight up. This is your wingspan. Now, no matter what size individual you are or really how long a rod you have, I'd recommend at least a 7-foot rod. 7.5 is probably the perfect length, all the way up to 8 foot for this technique. But look where the lure's at. I've got it even with the reel. Now, if I get so much line out and I got it like that, guess what? I go to swing, I'm probably gonna hit the side of my boat, and it's gonna be real awkward to try to do the flipping technique. Now, if I've got too little a line, and I'm in this scenario, I can't get any distance. So here's the standard that you set. Just get your wingspan, get your bait about even with your reel. Now you swing it underhand. Here's another mistake people make. As they're swinging it underhand, they let go of the line. That's a mistake because then it crashes into the water. First thing you do when you make your first presentation, you engage the reel. So this is the piece of line now that you're working with. Now when you make that flip, you let the line slide over your fingers, just like this, over your fingers. You don't let go of it. You always got control. So if I'm flipping into that, say, imaginary reed right there, I want my rod not straight out. If you flip too far and you get a bite right there, it's gonna be hard to set the hook. He's gonna tight line you. So when you make that flip, rod about in that position, and you're following your lure down with the rod tip until it hits bottom, shake it a couple times, bring it back out, ease it into the next spot. But you're always working with this line in this hand, and you're bringing this hand back to the reel. It's okay to feel the line to hopefully detect a strike a little easier. You're also in position to bring it back and make your next presentation. I'm left-handed, my reel handles are going to be down. If you're right-handed, your reel handles are going to be up as you're making that presentation. But this is a fixed hand-in-line technique designed for dirty water, heavy cover, hand-to-hand combat, so to speak. But what makes it so much of an advantage over actually staying back and pitching is you're closer to the fish, you get a better hook set, easier to detect the strike, you got more control. Plus, because you're not doing any winding, you can make more presentations during the day. Gives you an opportunity to drop a bait on more fish's heads, so to speak. So when it gets right for flipping, that's how you do it. Very simple technique. Just make sure you got the right amount of line out and be ready, because the majority of those fish are going to either hit it on the drop or you're going to pick up and it's going to feel a little bit heavy. Either scenario, do not get in a feeling contest with the bass. Just drop the rod down a little bit, set the hook once, set it hard, straight up, and get that fish in the boat. Come here. There's a nice one. That is a pretty fish right there. Hook dead solid. Now when it comes to the pitching technique, once again, try to get your lure about even with the reel. And when you're first starting out, really do grab the bait because it gives you more control, but grab the bait behind the hook. If you grab this whole bait, sooner or later you're gonna get a hook in you. So strongly recommend just grabbing the trailer, and all it is an upward lift of the rod, and as the line is tight and you're swinging that rod up, you're letting the bait just come out of your hand, and the amount of velocity you put on raising that rod will determine how much distance you get out of your pitch. So even with the reel, boom, just like that. What you're trying to get it to do is, I guess the best way I can put it, is run out of gas at a certain point. If I put a whole lot of upward force on the rod and then stop it with my thumb just like that. You saw how it jerked back into the water, and it was not a very soft presentation. So what I'm trying to do is each distance is just put enough force to get it to the spot to where it kind of runs out of gas and you get that soft presentation right next to your target. This is a technique that when you're practicing, don't set yourself up a target in the backyard and back, say, 15 yards off and say, well, I just pitched into that little bucket of mine 100 times in a row. That really doesn't accomplish a whole lot. You want a kind of a little mini golf course, so to speak. Say a target at 10 yards, a target at 15, a target at maybe 20, so that you learn how much force you got to put on this rod to get it to that certain point, to get it to that destination. And then it becomes natural. It becomes hand-eye coordination. You can look at a target and you can almost go, I got to put that much effort on it to get it to that particular point. And that's more of the natural situation you're going to get into on the water. So these are techniques you can practice without actually going to the lake, and then when you get to the lake, you'll be very, very proficient at them, and you will catch not only more fish, but you'll catch bigger fish.